Y'all ever witness a betrayal so bold, so diabolically delicious? It makes a Tyler Perry plot twist look like preschool nap time. Because what just happened on the set of Love and Hip Hop wasn't just scandal, it was a full-blown reality TV earthquake. And baby, the aftershocks are still trending. What if I told you Bambi wasn't just flirting with the enemy? She was out here FaceTiming Spice's ex while he was half naked in a nail salon, biting his lip like he just stepped off a thirst trap runway. And what if I told you blue-wigged no-nonsense, Spice had receipts so damning, so crisp in 4K. She didn't even need to raise her voice. She just hit play and let the cast implode. Did we just watch a healing retreat transform into a televised betrayal massacre? And why was everyone in the room gasping like they saw a ghost and a lawsuit at the same time? Grab your popcorn, your petty, and a witness protection application, because this right here, it's not just messy. It's the kind of mess that stains reputations permanently. Let's get into how one video cracked open a vault of lies, loyalty, and lingerie. You ready? Because this tea, boiling. You ever seen somebody walk into a room with peace offerings in one hand and a grenade in the other? Because that's exactly what Spice did when she entered that so-called healing retreat. The one hyped up as a space for sisterhood, spiritual growth, and maybe one or two staged breakthroughs. But baby, what actually happened was a complete implosion. This wasn't about healing, this was an ambush with glitter on it. From the moment Spice arrived, something was off. Her smile was a little too calm, her nails were a little too sharp, and her silence loud. See, if you know Spice, you know she doesn't waste time on petitesses. She watches, and when it's time, she drops receipts so heavy they shatter egos on impact. And Bambi, oh, Bambi strutted into that retreat like she had nothing to hide, sunglasses on indoors, smirking like her storyline was safe. But what she didn't know was that Spice had been sitting on a bomb for months, actual video proof that Bambi had been FaceTiming Spice's ex behind her back. Not just a hi-hello kind of call either. We're talking late night, shirtless, lip-biting, inappropriate giggling, like something straight out of a sneaky link caught in 4K. TikTok. The tea wasn't just hot, it was scalding. So how did we get here? Let's rewind. The streets had already been whispering, rumors flying that Bambi had been sliding into DMs that weren't hers to touch. At first, it seemed like classic cast shade, the kind that floats around between episodes and disappears once the cameras roll. But then, word started leaking that there was actual proof. Screenshots, time-stamped calls, and yes, a video. Now mind you, Spice didn't say a word when she found out. She played it cool, real cool. She went to set, smiled in Bambi's face, hugged her like nothing was wrong, and even sat through those cringy group therapy sessions pretending to breathe through the drama. Meanwhile, in her camera roll, a silent weapon ready to shut the whole production down. Spice had been waiting for the right moment, and oh, did she pick it. Day 3 of the retreat. Right after the sage circle and just before the group trust-building exercise, she stood up, pulled out her phone, and said, "Y'all wanna talk about honesty? Let's talk about this." Boom. The video played. Warning. No introduction. Just betrayal playing out on a screen bigger than Bambi's ego. In the clip, Bambi's giggling like a schoolgirl while Spice's ex lounges shirtless, talking slick like they've been doing this for weeks. The room, dead silent, castmates, frozen. One assistant reportedly gasped so loud, the mic popped. Bambi, jaw on the floor like she had just seen a ghost, and that ghost was her own reflection. She tried to play it cool at first. "It's not what it looks like," she said, voice shaking. But the video didn't lie. The flirting was obvious. The vibe, intimate, and the timing. Well, it just so happened to line up with the exact same days Bambi was telling Spice they should be closer as friends. That's the kind of two-faced energy you need a whole therapist to unpack. And Spice. She didn't even raise her voice. She just let the footage speak for itself, then looked Bambi dead in the face and said, "This who y'all defending?" The room erupted, castmates started whispering. One muttered, "I knew it." Another just shook their head and walked out. The energy shifted like a thunderstorm had rolled through the building. You could feel it, betrayal, rage, shock, all swirling in the air while the cameras zoomed in for the money shot. And let's be real, this wasn't just drama for the show. This was real. You could see it in the way Bambi's hands shook. You could hear it in the silence that followed. Even the producers didn't know what to do. One camera operator, reportedly, dropped his lens cap. The boom mic guy leaned in like he was watching a courtroom trial. Bambi finally snapped, yelling at Spice across the circle. "You jealous of me, girl? You always been jealous." But Spice, unbothered.com, lethal, she replied, "Jealous of what? A man that don't even claim you." The gasps echoed louder, then the retreat chants. And just when you thought that was the climax, it wasn't. Because suddenly, another castmate stood up and said, "If we airing videos, I got something to..." That's when it went from messy to full-blown meltdown. Another phone was pulled out, another screen lit up, and just like that, a second video played. This time, it was Bambi on speakerphone telling someone, "I don't owe that girl Spice nothing. Her man ain't off limits." You could hear a pin drop. The room froze again. Spice didn't say a word she didn't need to. The footage said it all. The betrayal wasn't just accidental. It was deliberate, calculated, audacious. Bambi lunged for the phone, tried to snatch it away, but the damage was done. The words were out there, replaying in the minds of everyone in the room. One stylist reportedly said, "You lied to all of us." Another cast member whispered, "Nah, this ain't forgivable." The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. People started choosing sides right then and there. You could feel the divide forming. Team Spice, Team Bambi, Civil War, Love and Hip Hop Edition. Behind the scenes, chaos was brewing, producers scrambling, trying to figure out if they had to shut down filming. One PA allegedly ran out of the room crying. Security was alerted in case things turned physical. And in the middle of all this, Spice sitting there like she had just watched her favorite movie and already knew how it ended. She didn't gloat, she didn't yell, she just sat back, arms folded, as Bambi's entire image unraveled right there on camera. The betrayal was undeniable. And the public, oh, they were watching. Social media lit up like Christmas in July. The clip was already circulating, edited with dramatic music, shared across TikTok, Twitter, and every Shade Room clone in existence. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag Team Spice was trending. Hashtag Bambi Exposed was climbing the charts. One fan tweeted, "She ain't even flinch. Spice is an assassin with an iPhone." Another said, "Bambi got caught like a teenager in a group chat talking reckless, forgetting the screenshots exist." And just like that, the retreat was no longer a retreat. It was a battleground. And the woman who had come in quiet, wearing blue hair and calm energy, had just burned it all to the ground without even raising her voice. Backstage, everything had gone off the rails. What was supposed to be a safe, carefully curated TV moment turned into something even production couldn't control. Cameras kept rolling, but even the producers looked stunned. No one expected the level of exposure Spice brought to the table. The energy on set was fractured, everyone whispering, texting, ducking into corners, trying to piece together what had just unfolded. And in the middle of that whirlwind, Bambi stormed off, knocking over a chair as she left the room, screaming at a producer that she'd been set up. She didn't go quietly either. Allegedly, she locked herself in her suite, cursing out staff, demanding someone shut it all down, threatening to leave the show and sue everyone involved. But let's be honest, was it really a setup? Or was this just karma with perfect lighting and multiple camera angles? Because everything Spice revealed had timestamps, context, and footage no one could argue with. And the second video. That was the nail in the coffin. Not only was Bambi clearly on record saying she owed Spice nothing, she sounded proud, like she had been holding in that bitterness for months, just waiting for a reason to justify her actions. Producers scrambled behind the scenes. Legal teams were put on standby. One insider said executives from the network were pulled into an emergency call within 30 minutes of the second video dropping. Their concern, not just the scandal, but the fact that unauthorized footage had surfaced that no one could trace. They had one question: how the hell did this get out without them knowing? Meanwhile, Spice was She was spotted in the green room later that day sipping tea like she was on vacation, telling a crew member, "This is just the warm-up." Apparently, she had more footage, more receipts, and she wasn't afraid to drop them if she felt disrespected again. It wasn't just about the man anymore, it was about principle, loyalty, and a sisterhood that had been shattered in full view of millions. Fans were already flooding comment sections, pulling up old episodes where Bambi and Spice hugged, laughed, confided in each other. Clips of Bambi saying things like "that's my sister" were now being played next to the video of her flirting with that same sister's ex. The hypocrisy was loud, and the viewers were not forgiving. One moment in particular caught everyone's attention. Just last season, Bambi had a full monologue about how loyalty meant everything to her, how betrayal was a deal-breaker. And now here she was, caught on tape, doing the exact thing she claimed to despise. Even some of her close allies in the cast were distancing themselves. Unfollows started happening in real time. Passive-aggressive Instagram stories appeared minutes after the video aired. One cast member posted a black screen with the caption, "Snakes always shed." Another wrote, "The mask always falls eventually." And while Bambi was trying to do damage control, allegedly calling other castmates privately to explain her side, no one was buying it. Word leaked that she even contacted producers to try and block the rest of the footage from airing, claiming it was taken out of context and would ruin her reputation permanently. But the damage was already done. The audience had seen it? The betrayal wasn't just obvious, it was calculated. And Spice, she was basking in it. She posted a cryptic message on her story later that night saying, "Watch who you let close, because some only come to collect your secrets." Everyone knew who it was about. Meanwhile, the man at the center of it all, Spice's ex, suddenly started posting cryptic messages to, "He had the audacity to go live and say the truth ain't black and white, y'all only see what they show you." And while he didn't name names, fans quickly pointed out that his Instagram follower count started jumping overnight. So now we're here, watching a man who couldn't keep his shirt on during a FaceTime call, trying to act like a misunderstood poet. But the truth is, he knew exactly what he was doing. Multiple sources from production claim he was spotted near the set several times over the past few weeks, even though he wasn't officially cast. One source swears they saw him waiting outside Bambi's trailer after a late-night shoot. Another claims Bambi used to take off her mic whenever she needed to make a private call, and everyone just assumed she was checking in with her kids or her glam squad. Turns out, she was allegedly meeting up with Mr. Shirtless X himself. And now that it's all out in the open, the network is in full damage control mode, but they're not exactly upset. Word is, this scandal boosted engagement by over 50%. The Retreat episode became one of the most viewed teasers in franchise history. And producers are already cutting together a two-part reunion special centered solely around this drama. They want Spice, Bambi, and the ex in the same room with cameras rolling. But insiders say that won't be easy. Bambi has allegedly refused to film unless edits are made and Spice signs a non-disclosure agreement regarding the rest of the footage. Spice, on the other hand, has no intention of staying quiet. She reportedly told producers if they want the truth, they'll get the truth, with timestamps, audio, and full context. One cast member reportedly said it best during a hot mic moment off camera, "This ain't even about the man anymore. It's about who got played, who got exposed, and who's still pretending like their wig ain't on fire." And let's not forget the stylists, makeup artists, and personal assistants who've all been dragged into the chaos. One hairstylist went live and casually spilled that Bambi and the ex had been seeing each other long before this retreat was even discussed. She said, with a straight face, that she saw him pick Bambi up in a black SUV at least 3 times last month alone. And when people started dragging her for gossiping, she clapped back saying, "Don't ask me nothing if you don't want the real tea." Now it's not just a scandal, it's a network-wide meltdown. Everyone's scrambling to control the narrative. PR reps are sending emails, showrunners are reshooting confessionals, and the reunion taping is reportedly being pushed back to accommodate new footage that just surfaced. Yes, more footage. Someone leaked a clip of Bambi and Spice arguing behind the scenes weeks before the retreat, a conversation that now looks very different in light of what's happened. In it, Bambi is seen saying, "You always make everything about you," while Spice calmly replies, "I just want the truth." At the time, no one thought much of it, but now, fans are dissecting every frame, every word, every micro-expression. The story is evolving by the hour, and no one knows how deep this betrayal really goes. But what's clear is that this isn't over. If anything, it's just getting started. Because when the cameras stop rolling, the real drama begins. The cast is divided, the producers are panicking, and Spice, she's sitting on more receipts than a tax audit. And just when everyone thought the dust might settle, another shockwave hit the cast like a wrecking ball with a vengeance. A new clip leaked online, this time from a grainy overhead angle. Clearly, from a security camera, it showed Bambi slipping out of her dressing room late at night and meeting with a man in the parking lot. Barely visible, but viewers were quick to play detective. The build, the height, the walk, it was unmistakable. It was Spice's ex again. And the timestamp. It lined up perfectly with the week the retreat was filmed. Within hours, that video had been reposted across every blog and fan page. TikTok. Detectives had it slowed down, zoomed in, and corrected, confirming what many already suspected. This was no coincidence, and it definitely wasn't innocent. The fact that it was caught on a security feed meant someone from the inside was still leaking footage. Whether it was out of loyalty to Spice or pure machines, it didn't matter. The narrative had shifted from a scandal to an all-out mutiny. Producers were reportedly furious, not because of the drama, but because they weren't the ones controlling how it was released. They had a goldmine on their hands, but now the leaks were outpacing the edits. The footage was telling its own story, and it wasn't flattering for Bambi. Internally, cast members were growing uneasy. Lines were being drawn. Group chats were splitting. Allegiances were tested. Even some of Bambi's oldest allies started to back away, fearing the blowback. She was now viewed not just as messy, but as reckless. And Spice, ever the strategist, was playing it smart. She didn't respond to every jab. Instead, she posted a single message: "Receipts don't lie." And the fans ate it up. Social media erupted with analysis, theories, and heated debates. The love and hip-hop fandom was in full FBI mode. They pulled old clips of Spice, warning others to be careful who they call sis. They dragged up interviews, tweets, behind-the-scenes footage. Everything was re-examined under a new lens. Suddenly, moments that once seemed harmless now looked like foreshadowing. Every side eye, every awkward hug, every subtle pause had fans screaming she knew all along. And while Bambi tried to do damage control, it only made things worse. She went live late one night, trying to clear her name, saying it was all a misunderstanding, that people didn't know the full story, but her energy was off. She looked defensive, nervous, tired, and when someone asked if she and the ex were still in contact, she paused just a second too long before denying it. That pause. It became a meme within minutes. One fan tweeted, "Bambi blinked like she saw the ghost of her reputation." The damage was irreversible. Even Bambi's own glam team allegedly began distancing themselves, refusing to repost her content or promote her new appearances. Meanwhile, Spice kept winning. Her follower count soared. She started trending on multiple platforms. Blogs labeled her the queen of reality TV revenge, and she was loving every second. She leaned into the chaos like a seasoned pro, giving interviews that hinted at more receipts still unreleased. In one conversation, she said, "People think that video was the climax. It was just the beginning." Everyone went wild. Behind the scenes, producers tried to regain control. They implemented stricter phone policies on set. Cast members were now required to sign additional confidentiality clauses, but it was too late. The scandal had taken on a life of its own. It wasn't just a storyline anymore. It was a phenomenon. Even other VH1 stars started weighing in. Some praised Spice for holding it down. Others subtly shaded Bambi, tweeting things like "loyalty is rare, especially in wigs and heels." One even posted a photo with Spice, captioned with a fire emoji, and the word "unbothered." It was clear where most of the industry stood, and if all that wasn't enough, rumors began swirling that Bambi's status on the show was in jeopardy. Producers were allegedly debating whether to suspend her pending further investigation into the unauthorized contact with cast outsiders. Because remember, bringing someone onto set without approval is a breach of contract. If they find she violated filming guidelines, it could cost her her check, her screen time, and possibly her entire spot on the show. One insider even claimed that new cast shakeups were being considered, with Spice being eyed for an executive producer credit or spin-off. That's how powerful this moment became. A single leaked video turned the whole cast dynamic upside down, and as the network scrambled to re-edit episodes, fan interest kept climbing. Comment sections filled with countdowns, theories, and popcorn gifs. Even mainstream outlets picked it up, calling it the most explosive love and hip-hop moments since the infamous bottle-throwing brawl. But deep down, everyone knew this wasn't just about drama. It was about power. Spice had it now. She played the long game, sat on the footage, waited for the perfect moment, and then dropped it like a tactical nuke. She didn't yell, she didn't argue. She let the evidence speak, and that silence hit louder than any scream ever could. Meanwhile, Bambi found herself isolated. Her defense crumbled. Her credibility took hit after hit. And while some fans tried to spin it, saying it was all for ratings, or maybe even a producer-manipulated setup, most people weren't buying it. The receipts were too clean. The footage too damning. And let's be honest, if this was a setup, Bambi walked right into it without reading the fine print. The biggest twist, however, came when another cast member hinted that Spice wasn't the only one betrayed. Allegedly, this wasn't the first time Bambi had crossed the line with someone else's man. Another video may be in circulation. Different cast, different ex, same story. At this point, it's no longer about one betrayal, it's about a pattern. And if that next video surfaces, the fallout could be catastrophic. Fans are already speculating who's in the next clip, cast members are panicking, deleting old pictures, scrubbing their socials. Nobody feels safe. And Spice. She's watching it all unfold from her throne of screenshots. She's reportedly working on a new confessional segment where she plans to lay it all out, naming names, giving dates, and revealing everything the fans haven't seen yet. She said in one teaser, if they want drama, let's give them a documentary. And honestly, she might just pull it off. Because this isn't just reality TV anymore. It's a full-blown cultural moment. Betrayal, revenge, secrets, and scandal, all wrapped up in a weave-snatching saga that has everyone tuned in. And as the season continues, one thing is crystal clear: nobody is safe. If there's one lesson here, it's this. Don't play dirty unless you're ready to get dragged clean across the internet. So now that the dust is still settling and the receipts are still printing, we need to hear from you. Whose side are you really on? Was Spice doing too much? Or was she just finally doing what needed to be done? Was Bambi caught in a messy misunderstanding, or was she orchestrating her own downfall, one FaceTime call at a time? Are you team keep it real with Spice, or team that ain't what it looks like with Bambi? Because one thing's for sure, this wasn't just drama, it was a masterclass in reality TV chaos. And if this is only what's leaked, imagine what's still locked in the vault. You already know they're saving something explosive for the reunion. So tell us in the comments, do you think more videos are coming? Should Bambi face consequences, or is production playing everyone for ratings? Tap that like button if you're living for this drama, smash subscribe if you need these receipts delivered on time, and turn on notifications because baby, in this game of betrayal and exposure, the tea doesn't sleep. Stay tuned, because what's coming next might just flip the whole cast upside down again. And trust, we'll be right here breaking it all down frame by frame.